Hey everyone. So this is gonna be a little bit different, and it's for good reason, I promise. So I've just finished Self Care Saturdays, my show that I do every week on Trans Radio UK, 10 while 12 for anyone who's interested. And effectively, I am going to be doing a challenge this month. So, back in 2021, I journaled every day for 9 months. And honestly, it was the only thing that really kept my mental health stable. It was nice to talk to someone, whether that someone was real or not is a different situation. Of course, they weren't, because it's a diary. And it gave me a creative outlet. That I didn't have to share with anyone. And something large happened September 2021, and I stopped. And I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have stopped. I should have continued going, but honestly, it was one of those situations where someone who was close to me at the time said something hurtful without thinking it was hurtful, and I couldn't react because of what they'd said. And that's probably the easiest way that I can explain it. It was tough, and I ended up not knowing whether anybody wanted to be around me, which made life very difficult. I shut down to most people, including my journal. Since then, I've been trying to get back into it and not being able to at all. I think the most I've journaled is maybe 2, maybe 3 days. Maximum of 7 days, but even then, it just wasn't good. So I am setting myself a challenge, because every time I have a challenge or I have a deadline or just an aim, I typically am better at doing it. So we're going to see how it goes. Every day for April, I am going to create a journal spread. I'm also going to follow a daily art prompt. So I'm going to actually make some art, which honestly I haven't drawn since maybe 2020. It's been difficult because my hands have started shaking again. I was getting better, and then 2020 hit, and everything was fine. I was drawing, and it was slowly getting better and better, and then all of a sudden my symptoms got worse after COVID, and it just did not. My hand movements have just not quite got back to how precise they were. So I'm hoping that this is gonna help. So be prepared for some really shit drawing. It's gonna look like a child's drawing, because that's typically how it ended up afterwards. So yeah. I'm also going to be taking care of myself. Imagine that. I'm going to be eating 3 meals a day. I'm only going to be showing you my breakfast though, because the other 2 meals are probably just going to be sandwiches. I think breakfast is one of the more important meals of the day, especially considering I have to eat it while taking my medications. So fun. It's fun. It's very fun. Very much appreciated. So let's get on with it, shall we? So this morning I did something fancy. It took me way longer than it should have done. It took me over an hour to do this. So I had some baked salmon with steamed green beans, which I did in the microwave, so I'm sorry. And I had rice, and it was basmati, and yes, it was microwave rice, because I cannot make rice in the rice cooker without washing my rice, because you have to wash your rice when you're making fresh rice. If you don't, it doesn't go well. And the height of my sink in comparison to me and my tiny arms is not compatible. I end up in a lot of pain after just maybe 1 or 2 minutes trying to use the sink. Washing up is a fucking nightmare, so yes, I use microwave rice just so that I don't have to wash the rice. It's not about cooking it, it's about preparing it, and preparing it is one of the issues for me. So yes, I had microwave rice. And it shouldn't have taken an hour, but it took an hour. So the salmon should have only taken 20 minutes, but because of the prep that I had to do, it took more like 35-40. The rice should have only taken 2 minutes, but trying to open the packet was difficult, which it really shouldn't have been. Eventually I ended up having to try and find a pair of scissors. In terms of the green beans, thankfully that was pretty quick and easy. I just got them out of the freezer, shoved them into a microwave bowl, and shoved them in the microwave. And thankfully our microwave is about head height for me, because we've got it on top of a little fridge, so that's not that much of an issue. And it was a very nice breakfast. And I'm not sure how happy I should be with it in comparison, like, not in comparison, but because one of the reasons why I'm doing this project is because I am currently in the process of starting therapy again. I have officially been diagnosed with NEAD, also known as PNES. Yes, penis. It's not the penis I wanted. But it's effectively I have to go into therapy to see if we can find the trauma triggers that are causing me to have non-epileptic seizures, and hopefully also find why I'm having more tics, and why I'm in chronic pain and chronic fatigue, and being able to sleep and not being able to sleep, because honestly everything is shit. And among that I also have depression, anxiety and bulimia, so it's, you know, on top of the ADHD and autism. So it's kind of difficult trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with my existence. So I'm just trying to do all of it at once, kind of see what I can tackle on my own before therapy starts. And I've like the meal this morning, my breakfast, I'm thinking about how my last therapist would have categorized it, whether it would have been good or whether it would have been bad, and I don't know. That's kind of the problem. I'm not sure whether it would have been classed as a good or a bad meal, because it was a healthy and balanced meal, and it was under 300 calories. And in theory, that should have been fantastic. But I know from my reaction to seeing the calorie counter say that it was under 300 and praising for it, my brain was just like, now, if we don't eat lunch, and I was like, no. So it's difficult trying to find food that I can eat that doesn't trigger one half of my eating disorder, because I have a tendency of either binge eating and purging or starving myself, and neither is particularly great. Especially considering one causes more seizures and the other one causes more pain, so it's a nightmare. But let's get onto the journal, shall we? So, it is chaotic, to say the least. I stuck with a green/bluish theme, mainly because when I hear the word Saturday, I see green. So that's just how I do. Saturdays are green days for me, and here we are. So I made 2 pockets so that I could do 3 stages of the art prompt that I had. The prompt was for a smiling turtle, but I kind of drew a tortoise. Sort of. It's a cartoon, you know. But I decided to stick with watercolours for my traditional, and when it came to digital, I did some, I would say marker kind of stuff, but I'll show you the original, the first and final set first, because I did the watercolours on music paper first, the digital second, and the postcard third. So I'll show you that now. Now I'm gonna go through it very quickly because I have sped this up so fast. The sad thing is that I was using Sketchbook Pro. I've been using Sketchbook Pro for probably since like 2016. The idea that that's now like 7 years ago really terrifies me. I started using it when I was in college. I was doing an art foundation diploma, and you know, it was fun. So I decided to go back into Sketchbook. It has officially been 3 years since I last used it. Kind of. I think it might have been like June or July 2020 that I last used it, so it's been nearly 3 years. And honestly, most of the tools I have already forgotten how to use. But then again, I can barely remember what I ate for breakfast like yesterday morning, let alone what I did 3 years ago. So it's not great. It's not fantastic, but I got to use my Huion Canvas 13 because I have that. I've had it for probably since 2020 now, actually, because I got it just as I was starting to get back into drawing, and I was kind of getting good. I could draw eyes because we always get told to draw eyes first when we're doing like courses, and the course that I was following drew eyes specifically, and I did pencil sketches of realistic eyes, and honestly I got really good to a point that I decided, you know what, it's probably going to be easier for me to draw if I can actually see what I'm drawing. So instead of using a Wacom tablet, just a drawing tablet, I invested in a Canvas 13. And thankfully there wasn't that much difference in the price, because I actually got a very large discount from the Huion store from the UK/Netherlands, I think they were based in. It took a while for it to turn up, which was sad, but honestly I wouldn't change anything about my Huion because it is phenomenal. I use it as a second monitor most of the time because, you know, it works. But yeah, so it's not great, I won't lie to you. My little turtle is not fantastic, but I'm happy with it. It's day 1. I've not done any of my drawing course since 2020. I desperately need to get back into drawing and doing art anyways, so you know, a little smiling tortoise. It's pretty cute. I think it's pretty cute. So I think that's it. That's all I've really done. I've done my show. I've done a bit of self-care. I've emptied my bins, which my mother was very happy about. I live in a disabled household, so we all have issues with certain aspects, and one of mine is taking care of my areas of the house. Not an issue with like cleaning the rest of the house, but my areas of the house, I neglect it because I'm neglecting myself, and I don't mean to do it. It's just I don't have the motivation to take care of myself or my area, and the only area that is particularly clean is where my cat sleeps. So yeah, I've not done a lot. Like, to me, I've done a lot in comparison to what I usually do. I usually just finish my show, write, and then nap, honestly, because the fatigue is genuinely ridiculous. But today I've had a bit more energy, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm excited or if it's because I actually had a somewhat okay night's sleep, even though I did wake up at like 11 p.m. and stay awake for like 4 hours. But I also had a lie-in, which I much appreciated, because I'm usually up from 6 a.m. And yeah, it's been an okay day. Pain levels probably 7 out of 10. I would say 7 out of 10, simply because while it is debilitating, I am still able to cope with it. I definitely can't go up and down the stairs right now, so I'm not sure how I'm supposed to go get my lunch. Because I can't use my mum's stair lift, because it is not for someone of my weight. Because I have put on a bit of weight, unfortunately, but you know, that happens. So it's difficult, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna just continue doing my daily things. So I'm gonna be doing Spanish classes, because I need to get better with my Spanish. I was doing so well in 2020, and then I got COVID and everything kind of changed, and I got worse than before that, and I ended up having to leave the job that I had in 2020 and go back to my original place of work, which I highly appreciated at the time. Unfortunately, I lost that job last year, so I'm just kind of stuck in limbo of I can't really do much, but I need a job, and nobody is willing to hire me, because although I can still work on a computer, nobody wants someone who's going to be working remote constantly. And that's a very strange concept to me, knowing how much work I can actually get done in my own environment, because I can limit my distractions. I can make sure that I'm safe when I'm having a seizure, and I can do so much better working at home, and there's so little health and safety issues in my house, where I know everything is where I know everything is, and I know what's happening and everything like that. But companies don't want you to work from home anymore. And going into an office is just not available for me right now. I don't know about you, but if you're having up to 10 drop attacks, like full seizures a day, I wouldn't want to leave the house, would you? I certainly don't want to leave the house. It's been nearly 2 years since I had a drop attack and ended up getting taken advantage of while in the middle of that attack. I was partially unconscious on the floor. And I don't want to have to go through that again. Because I know it's... I keep being told that it's irrational to think that something like that would happen again. It shouldn't have happened the first time. So, I'm just hoping that being able to journal and do my little artsies is going to help me and going to help me process, because when you're artistic, it's what's best, you know? So, take care and I'll see you later.